Ever feel like negativity just kind of, holds you back, keeps you from really, really living your best life?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're
Mm.
taking a look at this talk. It's from 1972
Right.
by this motivational speaker. And it's funny how relevant this stuff still is.
Oh, for sure. Timeless.
Totally. So he's got some really interesting advice on ditching those negative emotions and really stepping into like your full potential.
Yeah, and it's amazing how these ideas from decades ago
Mm-hmm.
are still so relevant today.
Totally.
We're going to really try to unpack his key message,
Okay.
which is all about understanding where that negativity comes from,
Yeah.
but more importantly, how to break free from it.
Okay, so let's unpack it. So he starts with this really powerful image, the negativity tree.
Okay.
So imagine a tree,
Okay.
but instead of like, apples or oranges, it's bearing all those like achy feelings,
Yeah.
fear, doubt, resentment, all the usual suspects.
Right. It's a powerful visual.
It is.
It makes those emotions feel almost like tangible,
Yeah.
like something we can actually examine and
Yeah.
deal with.
Totally. And he digs even deeper. He looks at like the roots of this negativity.
Okay.
And he calls out two big culprits. And we've all been there: justification and identification.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, like, making excuses for our negativity and taking things way too personally
Oh, yeah. We all do that.
all the time.
Yeah. It's like we're fertilizing that negativity tree,
Exactly. It's like when someone cuts you off in traffic and suddenly it's like a personal attack
Right.
on your driving skills,
Right.
even though, like, they probably do that to everyone. Well,
Exactly.
but we justify our anger like, hey, they were in the wrong.
Yes. We create these stories
Yes.
to validate our negative feelings.
Yeah.
But really, it just keeps us stuck.
And you know what's at the core of both those culprits, Rye?
What's that?
Justification and de-identification.
Okay.
Blame. He says blame is like the taproot
Wow.
of negativity. It like feeds everything else.
Yeah, and this is where things get really interesting, right?
Okay.
He says we have a choice in how we respond to situations.
Okay.
Doesn't mean denying reality,
Yeah.
but it's about recognizing that power we have
Okay.
in choosing our reaction.
You know what? That really resonates with me. It's so easy to feel like, you're just a leaf being blown around
Oh,
at the wind, at the mercy of like everything around us.
Totally.
But realizing you have a choice
Yeah,
in how you respond, that's
huge.
that's huge.
It is huge. And it can be daunting, right, at first.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like he's saying we're not just passengers on this journey.
Yeah.
We're actually in the driver's seat.
I like that.
But he uses this really memorable analogy, the stuck wheel analogy,
Okay.
to kind of, make this point hit home.
Oh, yeah. This one's good.
Okay, so picture this, right?
Right.
Fancy car, top of the line. But one wheel is completely stuck.
Stuck. Okay.
And that stuck wheel, that's that one major resentment or blame we're holding on to.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how amazing the rest of our life is,
Yeah, right.
That one stuck point can send us in circles.
Just burning up energy, getting nowhere.
Exactly.
So even if everything else in your life is like running smoothly,
Right.
that one thing that we're like clinging to
Yeah.
can really hold us back from, experiencing the life we want. It's like having a Ferrari, right?
Right.
But refusing to take it out of first gear,
There you go. Exactly. Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And getting rid of that stuck wheel, well, that's where this whole taking responsibility thing comes in, right?
Okay, yeah. But I think when a lot of people hear like responsibility,
Yeah.
they immediately think it's about like blaming yourself
Right.
for things that have gone wrong.
Right, like it's your fault.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what he's getting at.
Yeah, no, not at all.
It seems like he's talking about something way, way more empowering.
Definitely, yeah. It's not about dwelling on the past or beating yourself up for mistakes,
Yeah.
It's about, recognizing that you have the power to choose how you move forward
Okay.
from this moment on. This
Wow.
is your starting point.
He gives this this great example. Okay, so imagine this. Someone sideswipes your car
Right.
and they just like drive off.
Oh, that's the worst.
Infuriating. I mean, you would be totally justified. Oh, absolutely.
In feeling angry, frustrated, like, are you kidding me?
Uh,
But he says,
yeah.
you have a choice in how you respond, internally.
It's like that, that classic
Oh, yeah.
fight or flight response, but
Right.
it's not physical danger, right?
Right.
We're talking about those intense emotions.
And like the fight response in this situation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Might be like totally letting those emotions take over.
Oh, yeah. Like stewing in the anger,
Yes.
complaining to like everyone you know,
Oh my gosh, yes.
letting it ruin your whole week.
And we've all been there.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there. But, that approach,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually solve anything.
It really doesn't.
You're just like, stewing in it.
So then what's the alternative?
Right.
This is where that taking responsibility comes in.
Okay. Yeah.
It's about saying, okay, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like this really, really sucks, but I can't change what happened. So like, what can I do to move forward?
It's about shifting, right?
Okay.
From feeling like a victim, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To becoming the author of your own story.
I like that.
Yeah.
And in this, like, for example, right?
Yeah.
Taking responsibility might mean taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
Focusing on like filing the police report, dealing with insurance.
Right.
All those practical steps to like get things back on track.
And you know what's so powerful about that approach?
What's that?
It puts you back in the driver's seat.
Ooh, I like that.
Literally and figuratively.
Yep. You're no longer at the mercy of, your emotions or the other driver's actions.
It's like you were saying earlier, like we're not just passengers.
Right. We have the power to steer.
And that brings us back to his whole point about blame.
Yeah.
When we let go of the need to like blame someone else,
Right.
even if they like totally deserve it,
Right.
we free up so much like mental and emotional energy.
Oh, yeah. To focus on what we can actually control.
Yes.
And it's not like he's saying you have to, like,
Right.
become best friends with the person who hit your car.
Right.
But he is suggesting that holding on to that resentment
Yeah.
doesn't serve you.
That's a really, really good distinction.
Yeah.
So how do we actually get better at this whole like taking responsibility thing?
Yeah, it's tough.
Because it's one thing to like understand it,
Right.
right, intellectually,
Mhm.
but like putting it into practice
Yeah.
in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
that's a whole other challenge.
It is. He talks about how,
Yeah.
we tend to carry around these like
Yeah.
sacks of negative emotions.
Oh boy.
And the older we get,
Yeah.
the heavier those sacks become.
Yeah.
You know,
It's so true.
we pick up resentments, grudges, disappointments,
Yeah.
and we just keep lugging them around.
It's like we're afraid to like let go of those negative emotions,
Right.
almost like they're like part of our identity.
It's true. He uses this great analogy to illustrate this.
Okay.
Imagine, right, a child who, falls down, scrapes their knee.
Yeah.
They might cry for a minute,
Mhm.
but they, bounce back pretty quickly,
Yeah.
ready to play again.
You don't like dwell on it
No.
or let it ruin their day.
Exactly.
Mm.
But as adults,
Yeah.
we tend to hold on to those hurts for much, much longer.
Way longer.
We replay the situation in our minds.
Yes.
We overanalyze what we could have done differently,
Ugh.
and we just allow those negative emotions to fester.
And it's not just like the big dramatic events either.
No.
It's the little things too.
Absolutely, yeah. Like that
Yeah.
awkward interaction at work
Oh, yeah.
or that little fight you had with your partner.
Totally.
It all adds up.
Yes.
And before we know it, we're carrying around this heavy sack of negativity, wondering why we're so exhausted all the time.
So how do we like lighten the load? So, it's funny. I'm starting to see a connection here between that like heavy sack of negativity
Right.
we were just talking about
Mm.
and those those stuck wheels
Oh, yeah.
that keep us from like really moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're two sides of the same coin, really.
Totally.
Holding on to those negative emotions, letting
Mhm.
them define us.
Yeah.
That's what creates those stuck points in our lives.
It's like we're carrying around all this extra weight and then we're like,
It's-
why am I so tired? Why can't I get ahead?
Exactly.
But this speaker, our friend from 1972,
Yeah.
he doesn't just leave us with the diagnosis, right? He offers a solution. Remember his advice for dealing with like chronic complainers?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What are you going to do about it?
Yes.
It's so simple.
It's so simple.
Yet so powerful.
But powerful, right?
And I love that you're bringing it back, to this.
Yeah.
Because we could apply that same question to
Yes.
ourselves.
How often are we like stuck in our own heads, right?
Oh,
Complaining, ruminating about the same problems,
yes.
but not actually doing anything. Right. Like not taking any steps to change them.
We get caught in those, like, those negative thought loops.
Yes.
And before we know it,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
spent an hour,
Totally.
spiraling about
Yeah.
something we have, like, zero control over.
But that question, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
It's like a slap in the face, right?
It is. It's like a pattern interrupt. It forces us to either take action or just acknowledge, like, you know what? I just want to wallow for a minute.
Yeah.
Which, fine.
Hey, at least you're being honest with yourself.
At least I'm being honest. Exactly.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with,
Right.
acknowledging those feelings.
Yeah.
In fact, that's part of taking responsibility, he says.
Okay.
It's like, recognizing what's going on inside
Yeah.
without judgment.
Okay.
But then we get to decide
Okay.
what to do with those emotions.
I like that.
Do we keep replaying the situation,
Right.
or do we choose to focus on, what we can control?
It's like that old saying, right?
Yeah.
You can't always choose the music life plays for you,
Right.
but you can choose how you dance to it.
Oh, that's a good one. I like
Huh.
that. Yeah. And, when we start choosing that more, empowering response,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we can start to, like, lighten the load,
Okay.
create space for more joy, more
Yeah.
fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's like we're finally starting to,
Yeah.
unpack that heavy sack and realize we don't need to carry it anymore.
That's such a good visual, right? Like,
Mhm.
I'm putting this down.
Put the sack down.
I'm done. So I think, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah,
I think the key takeaway here is that we have a choice.
we do.
We can choose to stay stuck,
Hmm.
in all that negativity, clinging to those old resentments, blame, or we can choose to like take responsibility for our own happiness and start creating a life that feels, lighter, freer, more aligned with who we want to be.
It's a journey, that's for sure.
It is.
It's not always easy, but it's a journey worth taking.
It is. And you know what? You don't have to do it alone.
Absolutely not.
There's no shame in like asking for support.
Oh, please.
Whether it's,
Yeah.
friends, family, therapist,
Yeah.
even just like revisiting this conversation.
There you go.
Whenever you need a reminder that like you have the power to choose your own path.
Couldn't have said it better.
So go out there, be kind to yourselves, and start creating that amazing life you're capable of living.
Yes.
Until next time, everyone, keep diving deep.